Hyvää huomenta kaikille. My name is Esa Hyvärinen. I work for FORATOM in Finland, and since the beginning of this year I have been acting as a president of FORATOM.
My name is Yves Desbazeille. I'm the Director General of FORATOM. The first one is question of financing investments. We have to make sure that nuclear remain investable for the years to come, and nuclear has to be fully considered as one key solution for decarbonizing the European mix. The second priority is the European Green Deal.
Make sure that nuclear energy is included in all EU policies and legislation on an equal footing with other CO2-free power generation technologies.
I would like really that nuclear is fully on board in the all different initiatives the Commission is going to take.
Thirdly, the competitiveness of nuclear energy throughout the whole supply chain. This is important, of course, for the new build projects, but in particular so for the existing fleet.
We need to work with all the industry and define the best ways to improve the current competitiveness. It includes, for instance, some standardization and using off-the-shelf components for the existing fleet and also for new build.
The fact that nuclear currently represents almost half of the CO2-free power production in the EU clearly illustrates the size and importance of this issue. I think it's quite widely known that nuclear is a very controversial issue in the EU, and it divides the policymakers as well as member states very, very strongly.
There is such a big gap between what this industry is exactly and how it is perceived. So we have to overcome all those, I would say, wrong perception, emotional views that come with nuclear.
This also leads to a fact that those supporting nuclear are often silent while negative opinions are shouted loud and clear.
We have to recognize that nuclear comes with a lot of benefits, and those benefits are difficult to be recognized in the debates.
A concrete consequence of all this is that policies and legislation proposed and implemented lack often coherence, sometimes even science.
Decarbonization is a priority, and the fact that you usually disregard nuclear as one of the key solutions.
And all nuclear-related decisions tend to be overly political. A good example of this is the sustainable finance file. This is all the more unfortunate as it is a very important file for nuclear. All nuclear activities are very capital intensive, and thereby availability of competitive financing is really, really important for the industry. FORATOM is clearly needed, and it must continue to represent the interest of the European nuclear industry in Brussels. The key for successful lobbying is that the organization works seamlessly with its members, has a commonly shared vision and strategy, and focused actions.
We need to strike on many fronts.
We have very important issues on our table to deal with. How to strengthen the technology neutrality principle in all EU policies, including sustainable finance, and achieving a carbon neutral future for Europe.
The question of waste needs to be addressed. We need to explain and show that nuclear waste it's an issue which is pretty well addressed today and not left in the limbos that many people think they are.
How to improve the competitiveness of the industry through a more competitive supply chain while maintaining the highest level of safety.
There is this strong perception that nuclear is much more expensive than other sources of energy, and we need to explain why it may not be true. We need also to make sure that we attract new talents. It's very important to make sure that we also renew our generation and renew our skills.
How to ensure that more EU funding is allocated to nuclear innovations.
To be very positive and proactive, we also need to work on the innovation aspects. It's clear that every day some innovation takes place also in this industry, and more could be done with more resources.
For the nuclear, innovations are needed in order to be successful in our argumentation that nuclear is energy for future, not that of the past.